Wrapping up practice here, and we're getting ready for the stepladder finals opening match. Sirigliano and Brian Kretzer. We're just a couple minutes away. Looks like they're done with practice. Ron Moore is going to come out here with introductions.
Well, bowlers and fans, welcome to the stepladder finals of the 2018 South Point Senior Shootout Turbo Challenge. The bowlers competing this evening have already bowled 10 games on this 35-foot oiling pattern and have advanced through 2 rounds of qualifying into this 5-player stepladder finals. Dave Sirigliano is our number 5 seed. Dave earned that spot by leading the qualifying session at 10 o'clock this morning. Brian Kretzer will be the number 4 seed versus Dave. Brian actually tied for 3rd, but lost the roll-off and ends up the number 4 seed. As the higher seed, Brian has opted to have Dave Sirigliano start the match on the left lane. So gentlemen, when you're ready, good luck.
All right, and there we go. Sirigliano's going to start. 1-game match. Winner gets Tommy Baker. I'll have scores up here in just a second. I'll get them up above, and I can make the adjustments I need to. We're good to go. As you heard Ron say, Sirigliano led qualifying, so he was guaranteed a spot in the top 5. If he would have happened to lead the Cashers round as well, he would have to beat twice, but he did not. So he was guaranteed a 5 seed. And that's where we are now. We are back on the fresh, which I think it's, that's going to definitely play a factor. Of course, Sirigliano bowled much better early on the fresh. And a little flat 10, BK. Step ladders are underway. We're going to crown champion here at the Turbo Challenge. First event here in the South Point Senior Shootout. 3rd year for this event. We'll have 3 different pattern days, then the overall championship on Friday. This is day 1. So give us a thumbs up, share, get this out there on social media. Let's get our numbers back up as we switched links before we started this one. And let's get our fans back here watching. Quality shot there from Sirigliano. He likes it fresh. I don't think there's much question in that. trip forward, Keevan the other half side of them, but they're all down. Kretzer, strike, spare, strike. Sirigliano, excuse me. An early double after an opening spare. I crap about 3 or so. Not sure he was completely pleased with that shot, but well, you know what? Struck. Take it. Sirigliano's got an eagle or two in the USBC Open Championship, so he's definitely not a new face to the players out here, you know, at this level. Oh, he liked that one. There's some determination on that look, huh? Oh, look at this one. Looks like he's just a touch inside of Kretzer. Give him just a little bit of belly, a couple of boards. Looks like Kretzer maybe just a little more direct than where Dave is at. See if we can get an idea where he's playing. Remember, Sirigliano looked like he was like a 5-3, 6-4. Kretzer, they're just about on top of each other now. You get that one a little bit outside. Yeah. take advantage of that little miss on the last shot, but both players are still striking. 282.90 max scores. The question is who's going to blink first. Right now, neither. But if that's the case, Regliano wins by 10. Got a nice tight over the shoulder look here, Brian Kretzer. Strike spare. 5-bagger. Looking for 6. A little fast. A little quick. Right past that break point. Oh, big advantage now for Srigliano on that miss. He got it way out to the. He missed a couple boards right his last shot. Let's see if he. Well, if he goes there again, we know it wasn't a miss, but I think it was a miss. And knowing that, your overcompensation would be to miss left. We're about to find out. Much better shot. Back to where he was the entire game. Look at the scores. 246 max score, Kretzer. Srigliano's already into the 240s. Now it's left. Well, that makes it interesting if he misses this. He just fills frames in the 250s. But an open frame here would well, obviously change things a lot. And if Kretzer can strike out, he would force Srigliano to double to win the match. Well, to get all 3, or all 4, you got to get that first one. It all of a sudden got interesting. And thanks to our sponsor, 3G Shoes. Sorry, wrong button. Pretty direct. He's kicking himself after that last shot in the 8th frame in that lane. But spare strike, Strigliano's 246. Strike here is 246 for Kretzer. So a strike forces a double. I guarantee he knows it. All right. He did what he had to do. Oh, 2 strikes, stay behind the foul line. Strigliano's our winner. Spare strike or strike spare. We got a tie. Well, he's got to make it. How's this for an opening match in the stepladder? We still got Tom Baker, Stoney Baker, and Darren Peters waiting to bowl this stepladder final here at the South Point Senior Shootout Turbo Challenge. All right, strike to tie. And we get another tie.
A great clutch bowling by both of you guys. What it comes down to now in a tie match is a 1-ball roll-off with the higher seed getting choice of lane and bowling order.
There we go.
That order will be reversed and the lane will be
Kretzer's gonna take lane
changed
37.
until the tie is broken. So BK, it's your choice.
He just threw 3 on that lane. Yeah, I'm going right back there again. 1 ball. Winner gets Tommy Baker. I think he knew it. Knew it off his hand. Surprised he didn't back off. We got Stoney Baker practicing, getting ready for his match.
Great match, gentlemen. And
Taking a look at that. The winning shots, 246, 246 tie. A one-ball roll-off. Srigliano snaps 10 out. Kretzer flat 10. And our next match coming up here in just a quick minute. Tom Baker, Dave Srigliano. South Point Senior Shootout Turbo Challenge.
Tom will get 6 shots of warm-up, his choice on this starting pair, lanes 37 and 38. Tom earned the number 3 seed by defeating Brian Kretzer in a roll-off. They actually tied for 3rd and 4th in the Cashers round. And if you want to throw some 35 and 36. By virtue of the higher seed, Tom Baker has opted to let Dave Srigliano start the match again on the left lane. The ball on 35. Ball. 36.
All right, here we go. The next match, Tom Baker, Dave Srigliano. Baker got the 3 seed by beating Brian Kretzer in a roll-off earlier. And we've got 2-time PBA 50 champion and a PBA 60 taught us as well, Mike Diaz, joining us here on the call. Welcome, Mike.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
So now you need to be the expert analyst now. Who you got? I'm giving you the hard questions right out of the gate.
I'll take Dave Suriano on this one.
How come?
I just think he had such a good reaction on the fresh this morning and he's got a little bit more area to play with on 38 that I think actually Dave starting the match is an advantage for him.
Well, I'm going to say if he doesn't get his ball back on 35 and 36, he doesn't have much of a chance to win the game.
That's a fact. You do need a bowling ball to be able to play.
Waiting for a ball return here on his practice pair, and then he's going to start the match on lane 37. And Tommy Baker, the Y, the veteran, will start on 38. So a 35-foot pattern, and played significantly different on the fresh and the burn. I think we saw it today. Do you agree with that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, on the fresh, the pattern's flat enough with high enough volume that it was a little bit tricky managing the break point this morning. But as the day went on and they blended out, they got much nicer on the to play down lane. You could more dependably get the ball off the spot.
You know, we were kind of joking earlier that there was really no lefties in contention, but there's not. I mean, you're a lefty. There's not a lot of lefties in the field here this week. Which
Correct.
I was looking around. I was like, well, yeah, there's a reason why, because there's not very many.
There's only 14 left-handers in the field.
Out of 149?
Out of 148, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a much smaller ratio than what we're used to seeing in the last couple of years.
Yeah, today there just weren't enough to break down the pattern similar to the right side of the lane. So
you think that's going to affect the way the rest of the week goes for the left side?
I don't think it'll affect the medium and the long patterns nearly as much as it did the short.
Ooh, he was thinking about missing that, but he didn't, which is a good thing. So opening spare for Sirigliano, which is the same way he started the last match against Kretzer and then just started striking. All right, Tommy Baker now managed to sneak in on the super senior side, win a roll off. And here he is. And he struggled early on the fresh, but as you were mentioning off air, that you think he's really going to figure it out. He's got that. He's definitely got a trick to his game, that little spinner, right?
Oh, absolutely. That'll always get the ball through the front, and then for him, it's just a matter of picking up a ball that's going to slow down enough in the mid lane to give him consistent break point. And once he gets a consistent break point, he's off to the races.
Yeah, look out. We've seen him just go on some runs and some PBA 50 stops that were just ridiculous.
Yeah, it was no surprise to me that he snuck in this afternoon. Once any of these sprint rounds on the PBA 50 tour, he's really good at putting up a big number the last game.
Well, I remember a couple years ago he went on a tear there. Once he got into the cashers round in the villages, he went on and averaged 260 for 8 games.
Oh, absolutely.
And like he just snuck in, and then all of a sudden, it was just crazy.
He's one of those guys that once he sees the ball tipped the right way in the mid lane, he's off to the races. And having said that, he's been struggling. He had back surgery earlier this year, and still doesn't feel like he's quite 100%, but he's a lot healthier than he was a few months ago on the last swing of the PBA 50 tour.
That one looked like it had a little more authority on it from Sirigliano. What'd you see here? Let's take another look.
Yeah, he got out. He didn't leave anything in the bag on that one.
It's like he just kind of squared up just a little bit and
stayed
firmed up
and stayed aggressive. Stayed nice and firm with it. I think he's seeing that hook spot, and I think he's afraid that hook spot's gonna get magnified on 38, and he's gonna Now that he knows he's got some right, as we saw the last match, he got one to the right on 38, and it recovered pretty well. And
Yeah,
so
it peeled hard off the twig.
yeah, so I think he's going to keep his speed up on that lane because of it.
I know some of our viewers aren't real familiar with Strigliano. He got that one right a little late and wasn't able to recover, but he's got at least one, maybe two USBC Eagles, and he's a pretty solid player in this part of the country for a long time.
Yes, he does. I was at his house a few days ago and saw those Eagles. He's a pro shop operator in the Phoenix area, really sharp guy, really knows the game well. He won't have any trouble tactically breaking the pair down and understanding what's going on. And in that shot, we saw the difference between 37 and 38. 37, the ball was a lot slower to get off the break point than 38. And just by being that firm on 38 as a strategy, it might be tough to back it off a little bit when he goes back to 37. We'll see how that goes as the match progresses.
So we see players a lot throw two different balls in each lane, but it is a lot harder to try two different speeds. I mean, like stay firm on 38 and soften on 37. Is that more difficult, you think?
It can be, especially on a short pattern, because if you're throwing one a little harder on the right lane, trying to soften up a little bit on this pattern without having the ball jump off the break point can be a little challenging. The difference between Dave's game and Tommy's game is Tom doesn't have to make as much of an adjustment for that little bit harder break point.
Looked like he was ready to go and it kind of stopped as Stoney Baker was practicing down there, but didn't hurt him.
Yeah, it took a glance that way. And when the building gets this quiet, you can hear a shot even if it's 20 pairs away. See that one really good. Yeah, Dave's got a reaction that he really likes on 38.
Oh, that's just one peel off the gutter.
He can just throw it right.
He's going to change balls on 37.
I'm guessing he's going to go to something a little more responsive in the mid lane.
See if we can get over the shoulder look and maybe figure out what it is. Looked like it was just solid black. Just makes you think like an IQ tour.
Yeah, we'll have to see what he's going to. That ball's definitely a little more responsive in the mid lane.
And that's a big change. I mean, frame 5 of the game, you hadn't thrown that ball at all. You just shot 247 last game.
That goes to his knowledge of the game and equipment.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's big. Change his mind.
Yeah, something he didn't like in his feel when he got up there. Veteran player resets, starts his routine again.
Well, and that's why Dave went to a ball change there in frame 5, because he knows Tommy's probably not going to give him more than one, maybe 2 chances to get back in this.
I'm going to guess 2. I think it's going to take 250 to win this match.
What'd you see here?
I think he got it up the lane a little bit, and it just didn't hit the friction hard enough to get back off the break point. Usually you get it up the lane on this pattern, it's going to jump left, but there it didn't.
Well, Sorigliano can still go 258, and
that was close.
Yeah, a little closer than what he wanted it. Does that little glimmer of hope give Sorigliano a little breathing room to not feel quite as much pressure here?
Yeah, he doesn't feel as much like he has to strike every shot the rest of the game. He gives him that little glimmer that maybe he can miss once going down the stretch, and it helps you relax a little bit. But he's not going to have a lot of misses here.
That was good board and a half or 2 inside a target mid lane, but it's still
and it held
still
just
working.
enough. That ball wasn't very far from breaking loose.
That's the one thing we noticed today on this pattern is when you guys let go, you kind of knew off your hand whether it had any chance at all.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean, you can see body language off the hand. It was like, oh, well, okay, that's got no chance.
Every time I got it off the line, I knew the minute I let it go, it had no chance. This is a key shot in the match here. Right off the ball change, gets one in the pocket, but you're just not sure. Huge, huge break, because that's the problem with going to something that's a little quicker response, is it's liable to break loose.
Oh yeah, it just took off.
And he's a little bit leery to get it right, and so. But that gets him back in the match.
He may not be proud of that strike, but he's not going to give it back.
Absolutely not. They make you take them.
Like that fell off his hand a little early.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, he should take a peek at his thumb there.
Uh-oh.
And that one definitely fell off his thumb.
Absolutely.
He just about missed the last 10 pin, and that was a no-doubter there. That ball had no chance. And now we got a ball game.
Now we got a match.
257 max, Tommy Baker. 258, Sorigliano.
Fate has shifted into Dave's hands. He's got to make one more good shot on 37. Good comeback there by Tommy. That strike ball goes out to about 3-4 down the lane and makes it back to the pocket. Big shot for Dave because when you've got the good lane, you really don't want to miss the good lane.
Yeah, he struck every time here. I mean, he's got 10th frame here, so to maintain that lead.
Oh. Well, he just missed it off his hand at the bottom. Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Just missed it off his hand at the bottom. Just got a little out of balance and lost it. It's a very playable pattern, but you can throw it in the ditch if you get a little too aggressive. That's a tough one because it leaves him down 19, and now he's got to go to the tougher lane and gather himself up and mentally calm himself down and make a good shot here.
Yeah, I think it's more mentally now. Calm himself down. He's upset with himself on that last shot. Obviously, just a little mistake, but it's a huge mistake in the score. Look at how that head never moves. Eyes never come off target.
Great shot.
Big time shot there for Srigliano.
He really buckled down and really focused on that shot.
There's the scores. That's still 248 max for Dave. Yeah, 248. All right, 228.
228.
228. And Baker's pacing 227.
Still very much in the match. Oh.
Wow.
Caught a huge break. Got it going up the lane just a little bit, but there's so much more friction on the right lane that it jumped. It's enough for him to take a re-rack and give himself a moment to settle down.
Yeah. Kind of thinking, well, Dave had a Brooklyn, I had whatever that was.
Well, now
the breaks even out.
Now you're in the situation where it's just marked to win. But it's never just marked to win.
Yeah, he doesn't want to leave a 10 pin here.
And that lane bites Tommy and gets a little bit down the lane and gets behind the pocket. And 7-10.
If you're going to take a run at it.
Might as well. The count's almost irrelevant, so. .221 versus 223 versus making the spare. You got to almost just go for it.
Well, same situation he was in against Crutcher. Needs a double to win.
A little more focused on this shot. I expect a much better result. Boy, that might have been the after effect of the ball going in the channel in the eighth.
When you heard him ask for it to sit, he knew he might have got just a touch left off his hand. And
yep.
Well, a couple good matches so far here.
Absolutely. I wouldn't expect anything less the last two matches.
Well, Stoney Baker's coming up next, taking on Tommy Baker in the semifinal match here, the Turbo Challenge, here in the opening day of the South Point Senior Shootout. And Mike Diaz, sounds like you're getting kicked out by a Hall of Famer. So
Yeah, I'm giving my seat away for that CDB gal. I think she's pretty good behind the mic. She's had a little bit of experience.
a little bit of TV, but we'll bring you back for the finals if you want, if we tire Carolyn out here in this next match. But let's
How
get
about a
set
nice
for the
hand for Dave
semifinal and
Sirigliano?
find out who's going to win this title.
All right.
Dave finishes fourth, earns $1,250 for his efforts today. Qualifying leader this morning, averaging over 240 in the 6-game round at 10 o'clock this morning. That will bring on our number 2 seed, Stoney Baker, versus ageless Tom Baker. Stoney will get 6 shots of your choice on the starting pair.
We're on more with our play introductions, and we're going to get ready for this semifinal match.
In a genuine Baker match, Stoney Baker, as the higher seed, has elected to have Tom Baker start the match on lane 37. Good luck, gentlemen.
All right, semifinal match. Tom Baker, Stoney Baker, and we've got Hall of Famer Carolyn Doran Ballard in the booth with us here, representing Turbo here in the Turbo Challenge. Welcome, Carolyn.
Hello, thank you very much.
You had a chance to get out there and bowl today on this shorter pattern. You had a good run for a while.
Yeah, I bowled well the 6 games, especially my first 3 games. I bowled really well, but struggled a little bit in that 4-game semifinals. I bowled well the first game, but middle 2 games I just struggled. Lanes changed a lot, and I ended on a good note, so that's a good thing, and learned a little something. So, oh dear, as we see, 7-9 here by Stoney Baker, and he bowled. Actually, Stoney was my cross for the 4 games, and Tom Baker bowled to the left of me.
Okay, so you saw both players all day.
I did, and when we were bowling the 4-game semi, by the time Stoney started the last game, I said, I think he's going to pop in there, and I knew Tom Baker would, because Stoney was using a ball like you could see there with the idle and phase 2, the balls that were really smooth, kept it in play, didn't do anything really dramatic on the back end. Tom Baker, on the other hand, he's got that little bit of that twirl, that little bit of a different roll.
Yep.
So actually, he was able to get a little left and project the ball to the right, and it always recovered. So it was interesting to see how they were playing the lanes a little differently.
And they both finished pretty strong to get into
Yes.
into this top 5.
Stoney Baker shot 279.
Yeah, front 8. Now you went front 8, or front 9, and then 4-6.
Oh, 4-6.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
correct.
front
And
9
then
and 4-6.
Tom had a pretty good
Tommy
last
threw the
game.
back 5 or
Yep.
6 to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing what you saw in the lanes of both players, anybody having and we're kind of back on the semi-fresh here, only a couple games in. Does that give anybody a slight advantage here?
I don't know if it really gives anybody an advantage, because both gentlemen actually bowled well this morning on the fresh. You know, when you want to say something like, as the day is going on right now, I mean, it's 8 o'clock at night, been bowling all day, you know, fatigue sets in. Tom never lets down. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's just amazing. And Stoney, a very good bowler, has always been very consistent. You know, won on the PBA Tour, has done really well in all of these events. So I don't know if anybody really has an advantage. I think they're going to play the lanes similar. I think it's just who's going to be able to get their bowl to get through the pins.
Well, and Tom, obviously, more PBA titles, but Stoney, ton of regional wins.
Oh, ton. I mean he was
40-something, right?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yes.
I mean, it's just crazy.
And I don't want to, again, I want to choose my words wisely. I don't want to say an underrated player, but he may not have a lot of national titles.
Unknown player
oh
on the
my
national
gosh.
tour, yeah.
But so rock solid in everything else he bowled. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but a lot of the seniors that are bowling are the same way. You had Paul Fleming bowling, regional titles, never won a national title. Great bowler, right? I'm trying to think of it. John Burkett hasn't won yet, right?
He
Great
will.
bowler.
He
But
will.
that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of guys that, even though they didn't have national titles, they're very consistent in everything they bowl.
Yeah, we had a lot of talk about Paul Fleming today, and I mean, you do a lot of coaching. How would you not teach somebody to bowl like Paul Fleming? I mean, really. I mean,
I wouldn't not.
Is there a
You're
flaw?
correct.
Is there a flaw in anything?
No.
It's
No.
pretty impressive.
No. Not at all. He gives my daughter lessons.
Does he?
Yes.
There you go.
Only coach, only Mr. Paul and Daddy know anything about bowling. I've been told I know nothing. So, and that's okay. It's okay.
I give up trying to coach my daughters in
Yeah.
anything because you know how it is.
Right, exactly. So we're pretty close here, 1-pin match.
Yeah, that 9-7 was just a pretty rough break. I mean, the ball crept a touch high at the end, but you just don't expect 9-7s.
Now that's something you saw on the fresh this morning. So on that shot right there, Stoney hit around that 7-8 area, didn't really get it out to that 5-4 like they were doing earlier. On the fresh, there was some hold on certain pairs.
Okay.
But as they broke down, that hold went away, and you really did have to project the ball to the right.
What we've seen so far today is a couple of times on 38, Srigliano has literally got it to the twig, and it's peeled back hard.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have that on 37.
No, and it's pair to pair, because there were some pairs I bowled on, and I had a lot of recovery off the gutter, and it was the left lane, and I go the next pair, and it was the right lane.
And there's a shot for Tom. It just kind of checked early and took off.
Checked early. Looks like he got out of that one a little quick. Last game I noticed that he was getting out of it a little fast. Gets on the side of it just a little bit too quick, and that allowed the ball to roll up a little sooner.
He had like a 3-frame stretch there. He had some thumb issues where he almost missed a 10, then he did miss a 10.
Mm-hmm.
Dropped a couple shots.
So when and I don't even know Tom's exact age. I never really, now I know he's over 60 because he's a super senior, right?
I think 64, I'm guessing.
Is he?
Something like that, yes.
Okay.
He's been super senior for a couple years.
I've never even asked him because when he turned 60, I was like, you're 60? Really? I hope I throw it that good. I mean, I hope I can do that at 60.
He's coming off some more injuries, back surgery recently, and I think a leg surgery a couple years ago, but he's still out here, still competing.
God, yeah. He's kept himself in great shape. That's one of those shots right there. He projected a little bit more to the right down the lane and, read that dry. I mean, this was a 35 5-foot pattern. So rule of thumb, your break point's supposed to be somewhere around that 3-4 area, But as we bowled the 4-game semis, it definitely went away. A lot of the guys, including myself at the end, we moved in and we're playing more of like a 15-8 type on a short pattern, which sometimes you just don't see.
When you watch Tom Baker, I mean, his form hasn't changed, I don't think, in forever. Do you think it's very short, very compact? Does that help his longevity? Because he doesn't have a big backswing, a lot of movement, a lot of anything?
Right. I think so. I say this. I think the longevity of even a Stoney Baker, a Tom Baker, David, who he just, I'm sorry, David, I called him.
Srigliano.
Yes, Srigliano. If you really look at their games, basic fundamentals, nobody really, it's not a power player. Very good fundamentals. They just repeat. They do the same thing over and over again. I think that's what actually helps with longevity, because there's not a lot of moving parts. So there's not a lot of things you can hurt, Now you do, the younger players, you see a lot more power, higher backswings, a lot more the elbow gets forward and then they, fly through it. So a little bit of a moving part thing in the fact of just maybe a little bit more of their body they're using. So I think that's why you see longevity out of some of these gentlemen.
But then if you take an Amleta who's got a lot of moving parts, high backswing, he's just in insane condition.
He
so.
kept himself in great shape. I mean, I think that counts too. I mean, look at Tom Baker. He's in great shape. Stoney, good shape. Paul Fleming, great shape. That really does attribute to the longevity of the game, absolutely.
And we got a pretty good match going on here. The first 2 matches were pretty solid. This one looks to be more of the same. We do have a question for you in the chat there. How's Dell doing?
He's doing great. As a matter of fact, he flew out this morning from Dallas. He's out in Salt Lake City, or I should say Brigham City. He's at the Storm office working on some important
secret
things.
stuff.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I got to tell you, I couldn't even tell you what they're working on because I didn't ask. I'm assuming end of year, the tours are over. It's time to kind of sum up the year,
Yeah.
those things.
Yeah, end of year and get ready for the big kickoff in January of
Correct.
next year. It's going to be a busy first quarter
Mm-hmm.
in the bowling world. And you guys just successfully had your Ballard versus the Big C again.
We had Ballard versus the Big C in September. Yeah, we raised roughly 58,000, and we have a lot of contributors. Logo Infusion, Turbo, Storm Youth Championship. I mean, we're over $100,000 this year. It's awesome.
That's
yeah,
fantastic.
it's just fantastic. It's unbelievable. I wish we didn't have to raise that money, but it's sad that we do.
And another one that just kind of jumped for Stoney there, and he paid a big price there, big split.
Two things from this level when you're looking at the screen, it's kind of hard to say. He actually looked like he got that one to the dry a little quicker, and also was a little bit slower. When we were bowling the 4 games, he was really keeping up his ball speed, which really allowed it to get down the lane and allowed him to play the lanes the way he needed to.
Well, you said we started at 10 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock now, so we're 10 hours into the day,
It's, with no
games,
break.
12 games practice.
Yeah, it was a 1 hour break. I mean, we bowled
just a
the
little lunch
6
break.
games. We had 1 hour till roll call, and then they started this right after. I mean, a few minutes, like maybe 30 minutes or so.
Just enough time to tighten up again and after you get loose. But these guys bowl a ton of games, so it's been a long day for sure. See how you can bounce back.
Right there, their break point. He got it from about 6 out to about 3, and it comes in a little light. Now, this morning, and every guy I bowled with on my pair said the same thing. This morning, I think the light hits were phenomenal, especially in the start of the morning. Every time you hit flush, you left something.
Yeah.
So the light hits were really, really working. And as I was telling the gentleman on my pair, I don't move off a light hit like that. Because when they get touchy, you know what I mean? It's so hard to decide how much that move should be.
Yeah, but stay with a light hit, and then if you miss a little bit, it goes high, you're dead flush.
Correct.
And another one crept higher there, 9-pin for Tom Baker. 233 max score for Stoney. 219 pace for Tom.
$16-pin match. I was assuming he was going to make the spare. And Tom's one of those bowlers too. You just can't ever count him out. In all the years I've watched him bowl, it's he'd be on the verge of a cut, and all of a sudden do 240. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
He's great. Of course, I call him Thomas.
Never heard anybody call him that.
I call him Thomas. He got that one way in, actually, about 10-11.
Taking another look here.
Right here. See? Out to about 4, just didn't quite get up. And that was the thing that happened about the 4th, 5th game during the transition. When you moved off that hook spot to the right, ball went down the lane just a little bit further, which is why people then started to change to balls that wanted to change direction.
So now 228 max for Tom, 233 for Stoney. So Stoney has a chance to get up here and knock it out.
Yeah, well, if he strikes here, it's a 5-pin match. Basically, 9th frame, right? Yep.
I think you like that shot.
He liked that one a lot. Definitely a little bit harder. He's trying not to get around it too much, kind of just roll it off his hand. A little more end over end, not really getting around it. This is a big shot here. Needs 2. Let's see. He went light on this lane. That definitely wasn't light. Great shot. A little bit further right on that shot. Remember, he was about 11-4.
Yep.
That one, he was about 8-3. And see how the ball just came right off that spot, the end of the pattern. Again, both gentlemen using balls that are a little bit smoother off the end of the pattern, so that, again, doesn't look like someone, kicked the ball.
Right. You don't want that hockey stick reaction.
Correct.
Well, 9 spares, 222. Tommy Baker can still shoot 228.
Stoney taking 2 re-racks, which you are allowed per game. Actually, I want to say, see, this is 37-38. I think this might have been the pair we ended on, or Tom did. Possibly.
Stoney finished on 35-6. Tom finished on 33-4.
Okay, then we were to the left one. Okay, I knew we were close to here. So Paul and
John
Burkett were on the right lane. That's it. Okay. Ooh, went a lot straighter. Notice how that ball did not get right. So basically, Tom Baker needs to step up and.
Well, Stoney needs 2
2
to make him double.
Correct.
And we all know how nobody likes this 3-6-10.
Ugh.
Couple of splits on lane 38. What really hurt Stoney in that game. And then that just was not a good shot. His second ball in the 10th.
Short pattern, 35 feet, like you mentioned. There's not much hold if you go direct. You still have to have a little bit of angle. Great shot by Tom Baker. Seems like he picked up his ball speed a little bit on that one too. Great shot. Needs this one here to obviously sew up this match. Tell you, hats off to Ron Moore and his staff. This is a great event. He runs a top-notch event out here. And of course, thank you to all the sponsors.
Yeah, it's the 3rd year for the South Point Senior Shootout, and almost a sold-out field. A couple withdrawals late due to injury, but Ron has been putting in a ton of hours, and it's showing.
He didn't really like that one off his hand. You could tell right here. Got it right really quick.
And almost got away with it.
Almost.
So spares 218. Stoney Baker will advance to take on Darren Peters in the championship match. The Turbo Challenge, opening day here at the South Point Senior Shootout. So, Carolyn, thank you for joining us.
Oh,
You've
thank
got
you
a
for having
long
me
week
in
of
here.
bowling.
Oh,
For
God.
another fine performance
Yeah.
from
You'll be
Tom
back
Baker.
down here about 9 o'clock
I
tomorrow.
hope
to
you.
get ready for
Stretching and rolling.
more
You bet.
games. So thank you and good luck.
You
and
bet.
Thank you to
you.
Turbo, Dave Bernhardt, and all that you guys do for the sport of bowling. We appreciate it.
I call him Pops, but yes, Dave Bernhardt Sr.
I'm
Yeah.
going to try that. See if I can get away with it.
No, we're proud to be a sponsor of this great event. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
All right, let's get ready for a championship match.
Who would prefer to start the match? Darren has earned the right as the #1 seed to elect to have Stoney Baker start the match on lane 37. The two bowlers are bowling for a combined total of $5,000 in this event. $3,000 to the winner, $2,000 to the second place. Great bowling so far, gentlemen, and good luck in the title match.
All right, we'll start up again real quick. Basically the same thing Ron said. Title match here, Turbo Challenge, Stoney Baker and Darren Peters. $3,000 for the win, $2,000 for second here in the Turbo Challenge, the start of the South Point Senior Shootout here. And Mike Diaz, you got your seat back.
I got my seat back.
Ooh, he got that one out. That's not where he's been playing.
No. He got that one a little further right than he has.
So that's a nice miss. Do you throw it there again? Or you just
if I
be
know
happy that it struck?
If I've got a little bit more right on 37.
Because 38, remember, that's where we saw some players Srigliano got it out there a couple times. It came screaming back. We haven't seen that on 37.
No, that's the first time we've seen that on 37. Whereas 38 almost is, that hook spot's starting to get a little hard to negotiate.
It's getting a little sparky. We've seen
Yeah.
that's the third consecutive shot now we've seen go high from 3 different players.
Yeah, I think the winner of this match is going to be the one that figures out 38 now and steepens up their angles a little bit and gets it going away from the pocket on 38 a little bit more.
Footing issue there, but managed to bail that one out. So we talked about Stoney Baker. We know about him now, a good regional champion. You know, he's been around for a long time on the PBA Tour. I think he's got a PBA title quite a few years back. What do you know about Darren Peters?
Darren Peters owns a couple of shops in the Temecula, California area. Good player. He's bowled the PBA 50 Tour in years past and has been a little bit busier with his pro shops these days. Hasn't been able to get out. Still a very good player. Likes to roll it slow. Has a little more axis rotation just naturally.
And as good as he's bowled all day, those are two not real good shots to start things off. Nerves maybe, or just
a little bit of nerves, I think, on that. I think he just wasn't as firm and as confident with his shots as he was all afternoon. Because he certainly bowled great this afternoon to get the #1 seed. Little balance issue for Stoney on that shot.
well, and Darren slipped on his spare attempt too. So I wonder if there's any.
Don't know.
Or they both just kind of move farther right where there hasn't been a lot of people slide. I don't know. But that's 2 consecutive shots we've seen a little footing issue on lane 38. Or some of that could be, you know, you want to stay firm. You kind of get up on your toes a little bit, right?
Yeah.
That's, you know, it's not necessarily a
Try to
approach
drive,
foul, but it's
try to
just
drive it down the lane a little bit more because you know there's a little bit more friction on that lane. Yeah, and when Stoney gets his feet a little too fast, he gets in trouble. I actually had an opportunity to work with him a little bit this summer and help him out with some balance issues. He had some back problems earlier in the year, and it kind of lingered into his game, and we kind of got everything straightened out, and he's been bowling really well since.
Yeah, he went back to it. Why
Yeah.
not? It worked. It worked once, but not this time. See, this one just hung. It didn't come off the spot.
Yeah, he didn't catch it as much off his hand as he did the first one. So that really didn't give the ball a chance to recover. There's a little bit more hook down lane now on 37, but not quite enough for that.
Well, even though not 2 of the best shots he's thrown all day for Darren Peters to start the match, a spare and a strike.
Yeah, I mean no harm done to this point in the match. Filled a couple frames, got his footing under him, but that right lane's going to give him trouble.
And I think he liked that shot by his reaction. He was looking at it like, what
He
happened?
did. He liked that shot. I don't think he realizes how much friction there is on 38 right now.
He's still looking at it. Well, you know, he did stay down there most of the time. I don't know if he saw some of the shots, even like from Srigliano, that really snapped off the gutter here.
He did. I'm not sure how much he picked up on that.
still talking to himself.
Yeah, he's got to forget about what's going on 38 for a minute and focus in on 37, because the shape of ball motion you've got to get down the lane is getting a little bit more and more different on these two lanes.
What'd you see here?
Darren he got a little slow, and he got it up the lane just a little bit, but Darren's natural ball speed is on the slower side, and right now you've got to be just a little bit firmer and drive it down the lane a little bit.
Can you just go to a little bit of loft maybe to try to help that, or just more speed?
I think he's going to have. I don't think Darren naturally goes with more speed. I think his first option is going to be to move in a little bit and create a little bit more angle left to right. I think you're going to see both players trying to figure out what to do with their angles on 38. Here Stoney just tries to not catch it quite as much and just kind of take a little bit off the ball to get it down the lane through that hook spot. And as soon as you do that, what I found today, as soon as you get you back off your rev rate a little bit, and it goes right through the spot.
Well, I think we're getting our answer from Darren. He's walking down to the high end of the house looking for a new nugget.
Yep. I think we've got a ball change coming.
Now on this shorter pattern, you're going to go something with more surface to tone that down? Can you control that break point?
That's what I would do. I would try and get the ball to, I would try to steepen up my angles and get the ball to slow down.
Yeah, looks like it's got a little shine on it.
Something shiny. Could be a high road X.
Stoney Baker, 3 consecutive 9 spares after an opening strike.
I think between the pressure of the title match and this pair getting just a little bit tricky, that's brought the scoring pace down a little bit.
So this is the 4th game. So game 7 and 8 with just a little bit of practice, maybe a full game of practice total. So it's kind of like the end of game 1 in the league as far as transition or number of game wise. It shouldn't change a ton, but is it more in the mid lane where you're seeing the difference?
Well, you've had 5 players that are basically hitting that same spot down lane. You've seen it show up on 38 where it really wants to hook you. You almost need to bring the break point in a little bit now. Went something that's a little cleaner down lane to get it through that hook spot.
Yeah, this was a lot cleaner down lane. But then it come off the spot pretty hard.
Came off the spot really hard because it didn't slow down so fast in the mid lane, so it had a little more left for the back end. I'll get him a little confidence coming back to 37. That was slow again.
Yeah, definitely slower.
I think knowing that lane's a little tighter down lane, he tried to finesse it a little bit, and that's just something that this pattern won't take. There's just not enough play on it right now. Kind of like what you mentioned. There's it's almost like the end of game 1 in the league. There's some transition, and definitely we've seen it on 38, but there's not enough transition yet.
Good chance for Stoney to take a little advantage here on what's happening. He's only got the one strike, but he's staying clean. And that 4-4 for Darren.
Yeah, and Stoney's still
shot.
got a much better feel for what the pair's doing, having gotten a game under his belt on the pair. And Stoney can keep it a little firmer and go a little straighter, so he's got a little bit of an advantage at the moment.
So I've seen Darren now a couple times today and starting to learn a little bit about his game. He's kind of got a Mitch Beasley type shape to his ball, but
Exactly.
totally different roll. Can he make that big jump left like Mitch can do and just try to circle it and get it down lane late, or does he?
Yes,
Okay.
he can make the big move left and circle it.
He asked for it to hook.
Yeah, it pushed through that spot and just didn't make it back up the hill.
Well, last game he threw a really good shot on lane 38 where they really just got the back of it really soft, and now looks like he's almost kind of stuck in between being soft and then wanting to really come around it.
I think he's a little bit trapped on,
yeah.
on 37.
Struck out the ball change the last shot here. Darren Peters. That didn't look good off his hand.
Yeah, he got a little short, a little slow with it. That just allowed it to read the lane just too hard.
Yeah, that ball's really clean through the front, but when it goes,
It goes.
it's not stopping.
It's just not far enough. There's just not enough play on this pair yet for it to be not to be too clean and too angular off the spot. It's tough to come into a title match like this and not have a good feel for what's going on, and 6 shots sometimes just isn't enough. And that one he got down the lane a little bit more and was a little bit firmer with it. Much better ball reaction. Gets it through 10, 11 out to about 4 down lane, and
Now he's thinking, why didn't I do that the other 7 shots?
exactly.
What do we got? 215 max score for Darren Peters.
Stoney Baker going on a 197 pace.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and he gets a little break. Get a little love tap on the 7.
So he's left, I think, at least 3 7-pins and almost one there. What is it with the righty leaving? I mean, is it just balls going past the pocket?
That ball's a little bit lower RG, a little bit smoother. I think it's almost starting to burn up.
Because he went pocket 9-7 to start the last match, which looked like a pretty good shot. And almost a 4th 7-pin.
Yeah, I think were it not the 8th frame of the title match, he'd be looking at a ball change.
Yeah.
But this is a tough spot to make that ball change. When you're in a close match and your ball reaction is not getting you in trouble, and your opponent is struggling a little bit with ball reaction that is getting him in trouble, it's tough to go away from that. Oh, great shot by Stoney.
Well, I think you got it right there. Though it's not that he doesn't have to make a ball change. He could, but because Darren isn't locked in, he doesn't. I mean, if Darren was on a 5-bagger, well,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
that
Stoney
changed.
doesn't have to shoot 240 to win this match. He's just got to put enough pressure on Darren to keep him from striking out.
He just never found anything on that right lane. He had that one
No.
really, really good shot. And that was it.
Never got his angle steep enough on that lane to take advantage of the friction down lane.
Well, that changes things quite a bit. 183 max score now. Yeah, Stoney just had to stay behind the foul line.
Yeah, this pretty much puts an end to the match.
Yeah, he knows it. He knows it. Well, kind of an anticlimactic finish here. Not that it's officially over, but yeah, 9 misses, 194 for Stoney Baker.
Yeah. Yep.
Some good matches to kick off the South Point Senior Shootout here in the Turbo Challenge so far. You know, Kretzer, a great match. Went to a one-ball roll-off there. And now we get a title match and just a missed 10-pin. And Stoney Baker is going to pick up the win in the first of 4 events here at the South Point Bowling Plaza. What do we have in store for tomorrow on that medium pattern?
Well, tomorrow on the medium pattern, it still gets off the break point pretty hard on the fresh, and I think you're going to see not as much transition as we saw today, but you're going to see some. Hopefully the left side plays a little better for me tomorrow. And
how about scoring pace? What do you think?
I think scoring pace will be
We
moderate.
had 1 300 today, a 290, a 280, and a couple of 279s. So, you know, not massive scores, but decent.
No, I think you'll see similar scoring pace tomorrow, maybe even a tick lower.
Okay. Any style stand out to you on that 39-footer that's maybe has an advantage?
I think the guys that can stay a little straighter early and roll it, I think are going to get out in front early, and I think they'll be able to stay out in front today. I don't think you'll see as much transition where different styles of players were really successful late versus the guys that hit them early.
And a little different format tomorrow, right? We got 6-game qualifier again at 10 a.m., but then it's bracket finals. So what's
different format? Cut to 16 tomorrow for bracket elimination finals.
Congratulations to Stoney Baker for earning his first South Point Senior Shootout
All
title.
right.
And how about a nice hand for Darren Peters? Great bowling all day today, Darren. Thanks a lot. Stoney, I know you did really well last year. Made the finals. I believe the top 4 had a few bad breaks against you in the finals last year and a few good breaks in your opponent. And then you start this match with a high flush 7-9, or your previous match against Tom Baker. And Tom looks to be pretty lined up. So tell me what's going through your mind and how do you think about here we go again or avoid thinking that way?
Well, I try to approach it as every day is a new day. You can't bowl on what happened last year. I had a lot of bad breaks last year. I led qualifying. I just couldn't get to the big money. Opponents had some good breaks. I got some bad breaks, but I got lucky today when Tom didn't throw the shot. He normally throws it. I bowl him all the time. We just got through bowling for 2 titles in the regionals. Excellent bowler, so I got a break there, so I'm fortunate of that, and I'm just happy to finally win one, and maybe I can continue on the good ways the rest of the tournament. I just appreciate Ron and everything he does. Appreciate y'all coming out. Thanks.
Well, now for the good part. There you go. Congratulations for winning the a Turbo staff member winning the Turbo Challenge.
Yep.
And the check for $3,000. Congratulations, Stoney.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, there we go. Stoney Baker with the first win. He's got
I
some
want
else
to
to
say
say.
thank you to Turbo and Storm providing the best products on the market. Without them, I couldn't do what I do. I love their bowling balls. I've been throwing them for years, and they're just fabulous. I just want to thank them, all they do for me. Thank you.
All right, day 1 in the books. Mike Diaz, thanks for joining us here on a step ladder in the championship match. We've got another full round of qualifying and match play stuff tomorrow in the Storm Challenge, day 2 of the South Point Senior Shootout. And any final words?
No, I think tomorrow's going to be a good day. There's a lot of talent in this field of 148, and there's going to be a lot more excitement in the bracket finals tomorrow, so that's definitely worth tuning in to watch.
Yeah, no doubt. A couple final photos here from our first and second place champions. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today. 10 a.m. Vegas time, 1 o'clock Eastern. We'll be back with the Storm Challenge tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.